At the moment we've got Casper field peas and Wharton field peas, about 50-50 mix. And we also sort of ventured into vetch this year, but that's more so for grazing rather than putting in a rotation at this stage.
I grew them a lot back in the 80s, the field peas, for about 10 years, and then I gave them away because they were a lot harder to harvest then, but now with the new varieties and that, and they stand up more, they're a lot easier to harvest. At the moment we're growing about 1,000 acres of them, and the wheat crop this year on last year's field peas look really good.
Last year was our first real big year. We had about 600 hectares. Kabuli type chickpeas. Got some lentils and vetch in as well, which is the first real year for lentils and vetch.
So we run peas and vetch just as our main ones. We're looking at other ones obviously, but yeah, mainly just peas and vetch at the moment, and sometimes use the vetch as a bit of a grazing thing with our sheep or cattle as well. But there's about 300 hectares of vetch and then about 900 hectares of peas. So all up is about nearly 5,500 hectares of like all crops.
Peas and these now, faba beans, we have tried lupins for 2 seasons, and they're just a little bit erratic how they're growing. 300 hectares of beans and about 400 of peas. So, well, we sow nearly 3,700 all up, and yeah, this is about 700 hectares. So but I'd still like to go a little bit higher. I don't know if we'll reach half, but
Changed a lot, especially since field peas have come in. We sort of went in a bit tentative, not knowing how they'd grow in this area, and been very happy at the way they've grown in different soil types.
Yeah, we used to just rotate with barley and wheat, but now we've gone more into the field peas for a break crop to get rid of the grasses and that out of your fallow for your wheat crop the next year. Also the nitrogen in the ground.
In the last 2 to 3 years they've come in a big way, but before that it was a break crop was a oat or a fallow type paddock.
Massively, yeah, massively. I was down at Horsham at college there and sort of learned a bit about them, and then like at that stage we didn't do any sort of break crops, and now it's gone from vetch to, well, like today, chickpeas, faba beans, everything's changing.
the rotation's totally changed, and I just think the crops are following these is basically my fallow, but I'm trying to make a dollar out of them. So, you know, and I enjoy growing them. I enjoy the challenges of growing something different apart from a wheat. So it's yeah, in a lot of ways it's quite interesting.
Yeah, getting right on top of our grasses. That's probably the number one reason we went into it, and yeah, just the yields after following a SOP crop, which we were most familiar with. Yeah, it's been phenomenal. We've had them side by side with cereal on cereal and cereal on field pea stubble, and yeah, it's chalk and cheese. As we got more comfortable with our peas as well too, we sort of went into that just purely as a break crop as such, but now we're seeing that we can grow on different soil types that yeah, we're getting obviously yield out of the peas, which obviously comes down to the bottom line and dollars in the pocket.
Well, I suppose the end of the day is to try and increase productivity. Yep. And in all honesty, the break crops this year are going to make us more money than the cereals. It's a good grass control, which has been ryegrass and brome grass has been a big problem for years. Yeah, well, they do fix a lot of nitrogen, but I think the seed hogs most of it. But I'm pretty sure some of it's left over. If we put a wheat crop here next year with the subsoil moisture that's probably still going to be here over the summer, like it will be one of our best cereal crops next year.
Yeah, mainly just from cereal on cereal for however many years we've been doing that, you can see just how sick they get, you know, just the diseases and all that sort of stuff. And now that we've been doing these breaks, the next year after you grow pea crop or vetch or whatever it is, you just see a massive difference in the yield and healthy plants and all that sort of thing. I think the main thing is obviously the nitrogen, but probably, yeah, just breaking those diseases and, you know, different chemicals and your grass control too. Like that was a pretty big issue there for a while, and oh, it still is, but I mean, it was one of the major issues, controlling your brome grass and ryegrass and all that. But, you know, if you can bring these peas and vetch into it and get a good control on them, then, you know, that's half the battle.
Oh, it can probably double yields. And especially after the lupins, it'll nearly double the yield. After the pea, it's not quite as much, but it still does a really good job. I think it's just the nitrogen that it's fixing. This property's probably a little bit nitrogen poor in some spots, so it's fitting in well.
Because I'm seeing the benefit in a rotation crop, break crop. I don't know how comfortable I would want to go 50-50 with just the one crop. As I've said before about frost risk maybe with peas. Probably dabble in, a couple of the other pulses and sort of go from there.
And in future I'd like to, go into something like the chickpeas as well with maybe lentils.
I think it's going to happen forever from now on, sort of thing, just having these different rotations and weed management and everything. It's all making it easier by having these break crops, and as well as having a livestock sort of different enterprises, you can use them on the break crops as well. So
I see it as a future thing where we've got to, if we can keep it going and learn, we'll make money out of it. As we get better at it, with a bit of luck, it'll create an income. So that's a good thing, and creating better crops